We're doing them in three different locations, and two of them, the stitching and the Tell Me More memoir writing, are happening in the same location at the same time. So that is the first week, and we're going to describe briefly each segment and then open the floor to questions that you might have about any particular one of those weeks.
And I'm going to share this slideshow, Aaron, and then we'll go through that.
Okay.
And do. Great. I think everybody can see this. And Aaron, I think we'll start with your talking about stitching.
Yeah, so briefly, intuitive stitching and organic design is a workshop we're teaching on the Mediterranean coast in Tenuta San Carlo in the Maremma region of Tuscany. And we're specifically working on hand stitching in the Kawandi style, which is a Afro-Indian technique that is incredibly easy entry for someone who wants to come into textile design without any experience previously. This is an example of a large textile made from the outside in applique style in that way. We're also going to be exploring a more traditional Western method, which is the inside out method of the log cabin design. This is also hand stitched entirely, and no templates, no rulers. The measurement is entirely from picking one piece of fabric and working from that. So it's very intuitive, very organic. And we'll be focusing some of our energy throughout that week on creating a group textile where we're bringing all the participants together around creating one textile together that is a co-designed, co-stitched, and co-quilted project from beginning to end. And this is something we're doing actually all over the country and in a couple of other places internationally. It's a part of our Blanket the World with Love campaign to create collaborative textiles. And I'm going to hand the floor back over to you, Tom, to talk a little bit about the writing program at the same location. This image is actually of the same place where we're teaching.
Thanks, Aaron. So tell me more. I call it memoir writing for self-discovery. There's a lot of reasons that we write. A lot of people use it as a therapeutic personal model. A lot of people want to record their stories for their descendants. And a lot of people want to make a bestseller and become tremendously rich, which sounds like fun. But that's not exactly the program I'm offering. What I've been doing memoir or kind of memoir writing for many years. I was in a group for 7 years in Monterey, California, or in Carmel, where we were doing memoir writing. And the thing I discovered was how it's an amazing way to look to kind of figure out how you got where you are. And I find it to be really fascinating. And I have a program that I've developed that has time for uh, 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 prompted free writes, timed writing, as well as memoir focused writing, and then plenty of free time to write. Now, this on your own as well. The property we're going to be staying at, this Tenuta San Carlo on the Mediterranean, halfway between, it's in Tuscany, but it's halfway between Rome and Florence on the coast, is just absolutely beautiful. It's an old rice farm. It had the land from the farmhouse area where we stay, the land goes 2 miles to the sea, and there's a road we can go out on. So my intention is that some of the time will be spent sitting in a room writing, as with a desk and such, but also some of the time will be spent roaming around and writing around the property. Both these trips, both these experiences also include a day of uh, a vineyard visit where we'll have a luncheon and visit a property on in Tuscany, and they will also on the way be going to a that was if you might have heard of the Taro Garden outside of Grosseto. It's a mosaic garden that's absolutely fabulous that we're looking forward to going to on the first day. It should be creatively very inspirational. This is an image of one of the rooms we'll be staying in. This is obviously the common room, as opposed to like a hotel style room by room by room. These are little houses that have 2 to 3 bedrooms. People will each have either share a bedroom or have a private bedroom, but however many people are in the 2 or 3 bedrooms, will share one common area room, one kitchen, a small kitchen, and a bathroom. So it's not exactly the like a hotel kind of thing that you might be used to, and that has its advantages and disadvantages, but it's an incredible place that we're really looking forward to being at. And I feel the program we're going to offer is going to be fabulous. And then when we're done there, we will go to Spannocchia, which is also a unique property. And Aaron, this is the program you were going to talk about, the Painting Tuscany.
Mhm. We've been painting and teaching at Spannocchia, just 20 minutes south of Siena in the Tuscan region since 2006. Is that right, Tom? So it's been
Something
20,
like that.
and it off and on. I mean, it hasn't been every single year, but it's was so compelling. We love coming back there with groups. The food is incredible, farm to table food. The wine is made from grapes grown on the property, pressed and made on the property, olive oil from olives grown on the property. And the location is 1,100 uh, acres of forested land. They raise pigs there. They have an organic garden. The interior of this old castle that was built in the 14th century is incredibly painterly and inspiring, and the exterior of the castle as well. And what we do is we come together. We have a studio that we spend the morning in studying art techniques. We have afternoons and late mornings outside, touring the property and painting the property. And we have a couple of field trips lined up to take people out on location where they can paint, draw, sketch from these medieval hill towns that we'll be visiting, Montalcino and Siena being two. And the food is great. The coming together around meals is so fun. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner are included in all of our programming. And these times when we gather around the table are so meaningful and surely a really big part of connecting all of us again and again. And this last time we were traveling at Spannocchia, the kitchen kept having to kick us out of the dining room because we were all having so much fun. Nobody wanted to go to bed. So it's a real treat to be at Spannocchia. You're really in a 14th century castle. It's the historic home of a family that lived there generationally for 400 years. And 100 years ago, last year, another family bought the property and they continue to own it and run it. And they've shifted it into an agriturismo educational institution and done a lot of renovations so that every room has a private bathroom now, which was not the case 20 years ago, and have really worked to not only maintain the integrity of the historic familial presence, but also to make the rooms comfortable and up to date in terms of the bedding and the bathrooms and such. So it's kind of a unique property in that way because it really pays attention to things that we really believe matter. It's not so modernized that you feel like you're at a Marriott or something, and it's not so rustic that you're uncomfortable. It's a beautiful kind of expression of Italian life, and it really is one of the highlights for us of our year.
There's Aaron at Spannocchia. The one thing about Spannocchia is that it's 2 kilometers to dirt to a paved road on their property. So every morning, Aaron and I would walk down to the highway, so to speak, and it's on a dirt road for 2 kilometers. So that's the bottom of our walk there. Um, this year we're doing something also a little different for the visual arts for us is now this slide says Rome and Orvieto, and I apologize. I changed that, but this is actually in Orvieto. Orvieto is a hill town halfway between Florence and Rome, where it's big enough to have a tremendous amount of interest visually and culturally and culinarily, but it's small enough so you don't have to feel like you're going to get lost. So it's a real opportunity to do uh, uh, sketching in the piazzas, in the of the architecture of the people on the streets and of the vistas around the city. As long as you can see that the edge of the city is really precipitous, so as long as you don't fall off that edge, you really can't get lost. It's a great place. Um, this the the time at Spannocchia is also a lot. We do a lot of sketchbook work, but some people do easel painting, and there is an opportunity for easel painting and such, more fully realized painting activities. This part of the trip is much more observational sketch, so it's much more line and watercolor in a sketchbook, perched here or there throughout the time. This is a painting that Aaron did on a day, and I'm not sure offhand. That looks to me like Bagno Reggio, but I'm not sure where that is, Aaron.
That's in
Um,
Orvieto.
oh, it is Orvieto. Well, there you go. So that's perfect. Um,
This is
so
Orvieto also.
yeah, so with the Orvieto trip, and also just as kind of as an FYI, some people are doing it as a standalone 5 day experience. It's only 5 days long. Others, it's a day after, 2 days after Spannocchia. So some people are adding it on as kind of a further experience. And if you choose to do both, we're giving a $500 discount on the Orvieto section. So that kind of makes it a little more approachable financially. Um, One thing that uh, the San Carlo trip, as well as the Spannocchia trip, have in common is that we begin in Rome, which is one of our favorite cities. We'll spend a night there in the community of Ostiense, which is a true Roman city. We'll go to a restaurant and be surrounded by Romans instead of a lot of Americans, as you might be, in the right in the heart of the historic center. But we'll start in Rome. We'll take a bus to either San Carlo or Spannocchia, and then on the at the end we'll take. When I say a bus, I really meant to say a van. The vans at the end, the vans will take us to Florence from either of those locations, and the reason for that is Rome is so easy to get to when you're arriving in Italy, and then Florence is such a great jumping off place because it has the train station that you can go north or south on the fast train from all the way up to Venice or down to Naples. There's also an international airport there, and it also happens to be one of the most beautiful places to visit in the world. So it's really great place to kind of get going on whatever your next step may be. Um, Aaron and I absolutely love teaching, and we love teaching in Italy. We do everything in our power to make this trip for the people who come with us to be unforgettable and also very comfortable. So, and whatever support people need, you may be a tremendously old hand Italian traveler, and you will have things to learn from you, but we also have a deep background with Italy and real resources to help both logistically as well as culturally, some of our favorite spots that don't usually make it onto a guidebook. Um, anyway, that's our brief introduction to our four experiences.